So I, of course, work in the NFL now, but starting way back in undergrad, which seems like forever. I went to University of Indianapolis in my undergrad as a bachelor's of science in athletic training. So any athletes in here or online? Do I?
You're an athlete.
Well, yeah, one in the chat if you're an athlete. And two in the chat if you know what an athletic trainer actually is.
I was gonna say you can get trained in a sport, whatever sport you're doing, or you can do like you can work along like the sports therapist.
Yeah,
and
pretty close.
Like help tend to injuries.
Yep, there you go. So yes, basically you're a sports medicine guy, first responder. You're attending to the injuries that you see, the cuts, wounds, bruises, all of that good stuff, and then working with coaches and, of course, the athletes. So that compared to what I do now is kind of night and day. So kind of continuing along, I worked 2 years as an athletic trainer at the high school level. Loved it. Loved taking care of my athletes. Loved, just being around the athletic training room environment. For you athletes who know what it is and unfortunately had some injuries, you understand how close you get with your athletic trainer. That's what I loved. So a lot of best friends, a lot of people that still reach out and ask me for advice on different things. But so like I said, that's the reason why I loved it. And then decided, okay, even though I love it, I wanted more. Gotta, what else can I do? There's a certain pretty low ceiling for athletic trainers, depending on what you want to do. You're an athletic trainer. I kind of wanted to transition my career into something a little different. So that's what led me to go to to get my master's degree at Temple University. So I got a master's in sport business. From there, it was like, okay, what do I do? Where do I go? How do I do it? Had no idea what corporate partnerships is, which I'll dig into a little bit more, which is what the department that I'm in now. But college, my grad program helped me kind of figure out where I wanted to go. So soon as I got in there, kind of jumped right in, networking, reaching out to people, talking, figuring out what it is I want to do, because I knew athletic training wasn't going to be my long term, but just didn't know where. But I definitely knew it was going to be in sports. It was going to be in some type of professional sport, whether it was NBA, NFL, or where, NHL. I was open to wherever. Had my preferences, of course, NFL first and then NBA, and then all the other sports, kind of get in where, they fit in if it came to that. Luckily, I was able to meet somebody back in 2019 who actually works for the Bears now. Her name is Melissa. She is the one who was in corporate partnerships and taught me what it was. So my first year in grad school, I was like, okay, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Luckily, I met Melissa. Actually met her in pretty cool circumstances. I went to the London Chicago Bears game back in 2019, where she was at, and my dad took us out there. And very fortunate to just keep in touch with her. Finished my grad program, graduated 2020. Who knows what happened in 2020? Everybody. Nobody's hiring. I'm figuring out, okay, I just got my master's. I just paid all this money. What do I do now? Where do I go? Luckily, kept my connections with the people that I've talked to throughout my time at Temple. One of the people that I talked to was the athletic director at St. Joseph's University. So as mentioned already, athletic training, just NFL in general. I was hoping to be able to have a position in NFL in 2020 as soon as I graduated. Of course, that was a no-go. So as mentioned earlier, network is kind of a theme of my whole background, network, which we'll touch on here shortly as well. But met the athletic director at St. Joseph's University. From there, I went to, as mentioned, graduated 2020, no jobs. She's like, hey, I know your athletic training background. I know that's not what you want to do, but we need you guys right now. Obviously, a lot of the testing and things of that nature with COVID that you had, a sports medicine staff was needed. So luckily, I was able to take a position there. Not the position I wanted, but the position that, still helped get me experience, which is another thing I'll talk to you about, being able to tell a story of your experience and just kind of relate that to, the things that you're going for. So 2020 graduated, transitioned over to St. Joseph's University D1 program, worked with men's basketball, a little bit of women's basketball, worked with rowing, some track, and just continued to develop. So did that for a year. from there, stayed in contact with a few people that I already reached out to. So I reached out to some people with the Lions, and the Detroit Lions, and was like, hey, you know, I want to find my way in. At this point, I'm 28 years old, just got my master's, and then another year of athletic training under my belt, and figuring out why, where, how, you know, again, transition from COVID 2020, teams are still like trying to figure out what positions they're going to hire for. So I had to personally humble myself. I'm 28 years old, but I ended up taking an internship. So sorry, if I get a little hot over here or excited, I'll get all like, I might start glistening a little bit, but it's all good. Yeah, no, all good, all good. So continuing along with that. So my year at St. Joseph University kept my network, like I said, and then I'm 28 years old, transition to, okay, I want to find my way into the NFL. How do I do that? I thought I was better than an internship. Applied. I'm better than this. I don't need to apply for those. I don't need to apply for that. Got nothing. My experiences were great. Got a master's. I got a couple years under my belt and working. I got a great network.
They're like this.
Yeah, right. They were like, okay, great, but you still don't qualify for this. You don't have that, or you don't have this relevant experience that, you know, we felt we needed, or you just didn't know that right person. That's also key as well, which I'll touch on. So all of this to say, I had to humble myself in order to get my way, work my way into the NFL. I worked my way into the NFL via an internship. That internship I killed, destroyed it in a great way. They were like, we want to keep you. I was applying for other jobs. In the NFL, what a lot of people don't know is if after my internship, I applied for other NFL teams, and the other NFL teams has to ask the current team that you're working with permission to interview you. So that basically means that I can't go work for the Chicago Bears appreciate you. I can't go work for the Chicago Bears if the Detroit Lions tell them they can't interview me. Oh, sweet.
Called her.
Yeah. Thank you. So at that point, they were like, I applied for other jobs. I got emails like, hey, let's interview you. I asked for permission from my HR team. My HR team is like, no, we want to keep you. So we're not going to allow them to interview you. You did a great job with this internship. So we want to keep you. That to me was like probably one of the greatest days that I've had, because that was an accomplishment right there. I kind of worked my way into an internship, humble myself, was like, okay, I'm too old for this, but at the same time, like, you got to go ahead and knock it out. And then to have them tell me, no, we want to keep you, we don't want anybody else to have you, that was like fantastic. That to me was like, okay, this is the reason why I decided to take this internship and you know, just do what I had to do. Because trust me, that was very hard, taking a step back from a full-time job to go to an internship to, you know, do what you have to do to get to where you want to go. So from there, earned that full-time role, did a year with the Detroit Lions, and then was like, okay, had some family stuff back home. I'm originally from Chicago, had some family stuff, and was like, all right, it's my time to go back home to Chicago. You know, I had to help family, had to be near them. My mom was sick at the time. And then also there was an opportunity with the Bears. As mentioned back in 2019, I kept in contact with one of the people in my network named Melissa, who was like, oh yeah, we know you're killing it with the Lions. I keep in touch with them people, you know, there. So yeah, we want you. Like there's no brainer. That right there is number one reason why you got to keep in contact with your network. There's water coming in clutch. And the ice, I'm telling you. Thank you. I would say cheers. Yeah. So
you say most
yeah.
Would you say humility was the thing that you learned the most through that process?
Yes. That was number one thing that I've learned. Because like I said, I was entitled. Like I thought I should be here already. I thought this was where, you know, I worked here. I got my master's. Like, what else do you need? What else do you want? I had a GA position while I was in school. And it still just wasn't good enough. So your experiences along with your network is highly important, highly important. Any questions on my background? That's kind of like a high level of my background. While again, still cool off.
Please ask questions in the chat. If anyone has questions in the chat, this is very informal. You can also come off of mute. If you don't feel comfortable coming off of mute, you can definitely put them in the chat.
Am I looking crazy online? That's what I want to know. Y'all can tell me. It's okay. Trust me. I'm used to it. I'm a hot body. Oh yeah, I'm saying we got some air flowing. No questions in the chat. Oh yeah. So kept in contact. So actually, while I was with at Temple, while I was getting my master's, my dad was connected to the Lions. So he works for Molson Coors right now. He's in sales, and he was actually one of our contacts with the Bears, and he worked with the Lions as mentioned already. So he knew a couple people there that he got me in contact with. So family, they fight for you. I was also somebody that's kind of another lesson that I don't want anybody that's, I don't want to give other people credit for my success. I don't want to give, this person just because they introduced me to whoever that they're the reason I'm here. And that's a very selfish way of thinking. Like you got to utilize your network, whether it's family or not. Our counterparts utilizes their family heavily. So take advantage of whatever resource you got. And know that just because somebody's helped you get to a place doesn't mean, they did all the work for you. You've earned that position that you got. So kept that network in connection with the Lions. And then that's when I got my internship with them. So yeah, no, great question. Long story short, yes, I've kind of always wanted to be in sports. What capacity that was, I didn't know. I actually thought I was going to find my way into college athletics, working in administration at some point. That was like, again, I didn't even know what this position I'm in now is, which as mentioned already, I'll get into, but I thought college athletics was king. That was like where I wanted to be. A lot of people that I worked with wanted to be there. The positions that I had at Temple was a college athletic position. It was a GA position working with rowing and the administrative staff, in a couple different capacities, a couple different ways. But from there, it was like, okay, there's just so much more. You talk to certain people, you reach out to people working in the positions that you're working in. I don't know if y'all can tell it, right, but I'm feeling way better. I'm about to say, hold up, now we drying up a little bit. So yeah, so I'll finish this question first and then answer that one. But oh no, yeah, no worries. So yeah, I thought I was gonna be an NCAA, thought, that was like the king, and then started talking to other people. It felt like there was bigger and better. And then also you start hearing more and more about the NCAA and just the administration and the organization or the governmental body that covers all things college sports. It was something I was like, I don't know if I want to be a part of, that. Not talking negative about it. I know a lot of people who work in the industry now that they love it. If there was an opportunity that made sense for me, I would still go back and participate, but that just wasn't for me. So always had a passion for sports. I played basketball, ran track. But how I got into athletic training was I had a bunch of injuries. So I had 2 right knee surgeries, 1 left knee surgery. I had a shoulder surgery. So I was in the athletic training room. Like I built a great relationship with my athletic trainer from basketball. Yep. So yeah, that's
Josh, can you repeat the question that people are asking? Because we can't really hear the question. So just
absolutely.
answer it with the question. Thank you.
Absolutely. And then there was one other question. There was a question in chat.
Yeah, so James G asks, have you ever wanted to quit?
Yes. but it was like a soft, like I want to quit. It was more so like I want to quit for the day because something happened that was annoying that just made me feel like I didn't want to do this anymore. But you take the good with the bad. So here, how about this? Let me dig into my current position first, and then I'll take a little bit more, so it might be better to put the reasons how I answer my questions in a context. So currently I work for the Chicago Bears. My title is partnership activation specialist, and I work in the corporate partnerships department. So I am kind of a jack of all trades. I touch a lot of things. So I'll try to give you the most basic answer of what I do. I work with all of our corporate partners of the Chicago Bears. So those are our sponsors. So Nike, Gatorade, Nationwide, United, and all the other brands that you can think of that we work with. My job is on a day-to-day to make sure that they're happy and activate their contracts. So our sales side, and please let me know if I'm not explaining this clearly, our sales side, who works in corporate partnerships, they will contact the brand. So let's just say the brand is True Star Media. We reach out to you all and be like, hey, we got a lot of assets. We think it would make sense for us to collaborate on them. This is how much it costs. Give us money. But we will make sure your brand is looking great. We'll make sure you get the exposure that you want. We'll make sure you reach the goals that you want for your organization. That is like my personal job. So like I said, our sales guy will sell him on this, and then he'll hand over a contract. You know, the True Star Media, you all sign a contract, we'll sign a contract, and then he handed over to me. My job is to look at that contract and be like, okay, this is what they have in it. I reach out to the respected departments in our organization, and to make it happen, to make sure that brand is looking fantastic, utilizing our platform. I have an example of this that I'll show y'all here in a little bit to put it in a little more clear context. Because as mentioned, what I do is kind of a jack of all trades, and that's a very simple like definition of it. So hopefully that made sense. But if not, it'll make sense once I show you guys the deck that I have. So a lot of customer service. I'll name a couple of my partners that I have. So I have Nike. I work with Gatorade. I work with Nationwide. These are a couple of ones that I mentioned already. I have a couple of real estate partners that I work with. I work with FedEx. I have a couple NFL league partners that I work with as well. So overall, a total, I have about 20 partners that I manage on a day-to-day. A lot a lot there that I have to activate. I have to maintain all of those relationships with these people because I'm talking to them again on a day-to-day. It's a lot of customer service. It's a lot of, hey, we need this right now, or this needs to change, so it needs to be done right now. And of the most basic, like surface level, I am that guy that facilitates the relationship internally. So I'm connected to our people outwardly, the brands. I'm talking to Gatorade on a day-to-day. Gatorade tells me, hey, we need to do this, or we want to update this, blah, blah, blah. My job is to take it then internally to say, hey, Gatorade wants to do this. Here's the creative. Here's, the plan. Here's the dates that it needs to run and things of that nature. So I am, yes, yep, I'm that bridge. It was mentioned, I act like a bridge in person if y'all couldn't hear that. But yes, I am that bridge between our brand and the Chicago Bears. Again, I work for the Chicago Bears, so it's not just me, telling us, taking from Gatorade, we would do whatever you want to do. It doesn't work like that. But my job is to kind of fight for, my partners that's in my repertoire. So, or portfolio, if you will. So kind of a basic high level explanation of what I do. Again, it'll make more sense once I show you guys the deck that I have put together of one of my partners. Question?
Yeah, you said there's 20 that you manage. Is there another person on Chicago Bears that's doing a similar job, or is it just you?
Yeah, so the question is, I manage 20 accounts. Is there another person that worked for the Bears that does the same thing? So yes, great question. We have our department our department separate from the others. We have about 20 people total that's actually in our department. So we have, I want to say, these aren't exact numbers, but I want to say we have about 9 salespeople. And 8 of our, well, in my department specifically, which is the activation part, we have 9 people. So that means our salespeople have about 11. So there's 4 partnership activation specialists that do exactly what I do. They similar to me, they have about 20 accounts as well. And of these accounts, they range from a various amount of different financial funds, I guess you can say, or financial, like what the contract is. We have $1 million accounts. We have multi-million-dollar accounts that we manage. We have, $200,000 accounts. We have $50,000 accounts. Like it ranges heavily. Which means so the partner that I'm going to show you guys here shortly is Weber Grills. They spend about $250K a year with us, but they're a great example for you all to show that they have a couple different things in their deal, which I'll show you how and why I communicate. What am I showing them throughout the season and how it's looking throughout the season. You can see the actual assets that I am the one activating. We'll touch on that here shortly.
So let me pull it up.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
That should be.
What other questions we got while we're pulling this up?
So we asked, there's a question in the chat about, is this your final career goal? And what is the best advice you can give when making connections and networking? Like, how do you make connections? How do you network? What advice can you give young people?
Great question. I don't know if this is going to be my final. I love corporate partnerships. I really want to stay in corporate partnerships. Now, is that going to be with the Bears? I don't know. I hope it is, but I am somebody who loves to move ahead, move forward, continue to gain new experiences. And fortunately and unfortunately, it's kind of bittersweet. The Bears organization is such a fantastic brand that nobody wants to leave. Once you're in there, you're there. And there's only so many positions that people have available, that you can take. So if nobody wants to leave, then there's no positions available. If I want to move up, then I'm going to have to make a decision. Do I want to stay here? Do I want to go, elsewhere? So it just kind of depends on what happens. It's a lot of timing on certain things. And then the second half of that question is, how do you network? The people that you're around right now is your network. First of all, that's number one. People that you're around right now is your network. Everybody here there's a lot of talent in here that I've heard about, that I've heard from, just showing projects and things that you all have worked on. A lot of talent here. So there's people that are going places here. Make sure you keep these. This is like a little mini family almost. Keep your network, keep in contact with each other, even if y'all aren't the closest. Or if y'all don't talk every day, I'm sure this is y'all are people who will look out for each other. That's number one. You'll grow into the positions that you want to be in. And number two, there's always resources like LinkedIn or just even your social media. You see your Instagrams and your Facebooks and those people where they are in life. That's a network as well. But as mentioned, LinkedIn. Feel free to do research on different organizations, and all of us, you can go on our website right now and look up Chicago Bears staff directory. You'll see literally everybody's name who works for the Bears. You'll see their names, you'll see their titles. Go on that, look it up, go to the department that you want to be in and search their name on LinkedIn. Once you search their name on LinkedIn, I tell you 90% of us, I say 90 because we got some older staff that doesn't necessarily need a LinkedIn or doesn't pay attention to it. So I would say about 90% of our staff has LinkedIn's. I already mentioned our staff directory has all of our names and our titles. Go on our staff directory, go on to LinkedIn, search our names, and you will find us, add us, send us a link, or send us a message. Hey, Josh, I saw your name, Chicago Bears staff directory, saw your position, seemed like it was super interesting, wanted to talk to you. That number one easy way to begin to build your network. There's never too early to do that either. Doesn't matter how old you are. It's never too early to start building your network. All right, can you all see this online?
The two in the chat, if you can see it.
Think so.
Yes.
Perfect. So as mentioned, this put a lot of things into context. Weber Grills is one of my partners that I manage on a day-to-day. So everything in here that you see is because of me and my planning and my communication with other departments internally, and things of that nature. So this deck right now that you are seeing is a recap of 2023 season and how the assets that Weber had performed. So now there's a lot of information here that's kind of redacted that I am not allowed to share with you, but this will still make my point and be a great example. So starting with our intellectual property, Weber is a proud partner of the Chicago Bears, which means they can utilize our Bears marks in a couple different ways for their promotion, their promotional material, any content that you guys or that they want to produce. You guys produce content all the time. They can utilize our marks as well as proud partner of Chicago Bears. So there's a certain threshold of spend that you have to have in order to utilize our marks or be a proud partner. So there's a couple different tiers. There's a Hall of Fame partner, there's proud partner, official partner of the Chicago Bears. And again, all of these are different level of spends that you have to have. So this kind of starts out. Proud partner, Weber has it. They can utilize our marks on their promotional material. And then they can also call themselves a proud partner of Chicago Bears, which is very impactful. Just being able to utilize our brand, our face, all, coupled with your brand. You got a question?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
like with that
go.
being said, you would say most definitely after having that stamp, like proud partner or official partner of the Bears, like how much of an impact does that have? Like sales or is it like
That's a great question. It has a heavy impact, which is why we're able to sell it for what we were able to sell it for. Now I can't give you that exact number, but it is upwards of $60K just to be able to utilize proud partner of Chicago Bears and our Chicago Bear head and our C. Yep. What'd you say? I'm sorry. Question in turn, what's the highest tier is Hall of Fame partner. So we have, and not every team has what they designate as a Hall of Fame partner. It could be something labeled as different at other teams, but what we have, our highest, our multi-million-dollar partners are our Hall of Fame partners.
Is it purely like a finance, like a threshold, or is there some sort of brand alignment or anything?
So when it comes to IP rights, it's purely a threshold of you have to spend this much in order to be a proud partner. You have to spend this much in order to be, or official partner, have to spend this much in order to be a proud partner, have to spend this much in order to be a Hall of Fame partner. That is definitely a financial piece. You're paying for those titles and uses of marks.
Brand alignment, does that?
No, whoever wants to spend the money. Yeah, it's like we're not partnering with everybody. We do our due diligence. Don't get me wrong there, but and any organizations that we just don't feel our goals match, then that's definitely key. So terrible with me saying if you spend the money, you get that. That's not the case, but if you are a brand that's respected, that want to come work with us, that we like to work with, that no bad news or anything like that in the media, and we do our due diligence on it and it makes sense to be a partner, then welcome out. And sorry, I keep forgetting to reiterate the question. The question internally was, is it just a certain financial threshold that you have to have, or does it depend on the brand? So just answer that question. Okay, moving on. So already touched on the IP rights. Now we're at training camp. So Weber gets 2 displays at our training camp, which is held at Lake Forest. So you can see in the pictures, the you see all the Weber branding and things of that nature. They come to me and it's like, hey, this is what we want to do. I reach out to our event staff and I let them know, hey, this is what Webers want to do. This is how big of a space they're going to need. These are the days that they're going to need it. So as you can see, they displayed grill models. They did interactive games, including burger flip contests. As you can see in the picture, that JW is my burger flip time. Time got destroyed. It got destroyed throughout the day. So I was the first one that did it, 6.82. I think the best was like 2.5. Absolutely destroyed. And then I don't know if this video will work, but this is Staley. I don't know if y'all can hear this or not, but this is Staley just interacting with Weber. W mascot. So this stuff like that, our mascot interacting with Weber, that wasn't planned, but Weber loves it because Staley, he posted on his own social media that gives extra branding and extra awareness for Weber. So it was huge. So this is another asset that they have. This is just kind of general. Like I said, this is a recap. So this gives the partner an idea of how many people has been in our stadium this year, which means these are the amount of people that's seen your brand, which is huge for them. They get ribbon panel signage. So as you can see, it says the grills with the Weber logo. That is also something that I am activating. So Weber will bring it, will send it over to me. I look at it, make sure it follows our rules. I'll make sure it's the size that it needs to be. And then I'll send it over to our events and game press and like, hey, this needs to be running while we're in games. I can tell them it ran for 30 minutes for 27 seconds. You're only contracted 10 minutes throughout the year. So we were fortunate enough to be able to give you guys a lot of bonus. They love that type of stuff. Again, they want their brand out there. They want their brand in front of our fans. Weber also has a lot of hospitality in their deal. So they get some club tickets and then as well as parking passes. So I can tell them how many of their tickets they used this year and how many they didn't. A lot of times they use that for hosting clients or, giveaways and things of that nature. So partners want to know if those tickets are being utilized. In the chat, if y'all are, I know I'm kind of running through this. If y'all want to go off mute and ask questions, feel free to interrupt whenever. I see a question. Oh, yep. I'm sorry.
I have questions about partnership.
Yep.
So for this particular partnership, say it's at 25,000, or is it?
No, 250K. So 250,000. And this is a 3-year deal. So yes. Yep. So they'll pay 250 each year. And yeah, there's some deals that we'll do a bit of an escalator. It just kind of depends on what the deal is, but that's another conversation.
Can you tell us, we have a question in the chat, Jermail is asking can you tell us a few of the Hall of Fame partners?
Yeah.
What that is?
Yep. So one of our Hall of Fame partners is United Airlines. So United Airlines is huge. They spend upwards of 5 million a year, like probably more than that. And we also upsell them on a lot of different concepts that, like right now we're working on a lot of I don't know if you guys have heard, but we'll be playing in London again next year. So with that, there's a lot of different things that we can sell, which we are talking to United about being a part of. So all of that content that you see coming out, you'll see United's logo kind of slapped on it, or you'll see a United plane in the background. So United is one of our biggest ones. Molson Coors, who is like Miller Lite, all of those beers. They are a Hall of Fame partner as well. They are exclusive. We have PNC, who is a Hall of Fame partner. And yeah, there's a couple others in there sprinkled in there as well. But with Hall of Fame partners, so right now I help with the United account. They literally get everything. They get everything. Think about this deck times 10. And seriously, like they get a lot, but they spend the money to do so. So they earn their Hall of Fame partner rights. You got a question?
So it's like, y'all basically like allowing them to run ads.
Yes. So question is, are we basically allowing them to run ads? So that's one of the things we allow them to run. We do a lot of like custom content series, which is what's on here now. This is a custom content series that we ran with Weber. They have a lot of banner ads. They have a lot of events that we have to plan. They have a lot of player appearances that we have to plan. They fly out our team. So on away games, most likely they're flying out on a United plane. They have a lot of community relations organizations that are assets that we plan as well. So they have what's called Bears Huddle, which is a lot of different like volunteer events that it's a monthly event. We go out to, a school or, another nonprofit and help paint the walls or help food pack and things of that nature. That's all sponsored by United. So, and that's to name a few. There's, like I said, there's a lot of things that they have in their deal that we activate.
We had another question in the chat, Josh, about how has your experience been as a Black man in your field of work, knowing that there's, few Black people in these positions? Can you just talk about that?
Absolutely. That's a great question. It's been, first of all, I want to say I've been very lucky to be at an organization like the Bears. We are putting a lot of effort into continuing to diversify more. Kevin Warren, who is our president and CEO right now, has made a lot of changes for the better to be more diverse. So we just hired a new blanking on her exact title, but she's going to cover maybe it's the chief financial officer. Sorry, don't quote me on that. But basically, we just hired a new person who's going to lead all of our financial departments, who's a Black woman. Love it. He did, and this is the Kevin Warren thing. We just hired another person who's a woman in general, who's a woman. So, that isn't a leadership position. So there's, we're diversifying more in that fact, which has made it easier for me to be able to say I love working for this organization. That it's not easy still, even with the changes that's happening. You can still see it's very not diverse, and a lot more will happen here hopefully the next couple months. But on a day-to-day, I don't go in there hating it because I work with white people and I'm Black. I don't go in there working hating it because I know from the top to the bottom, we are putting in a lot of effort to make this place more diverse so everyone can feel comfortable. We just built out what's called Black Bears ERG. So it's Black Employee Resource Group that we meet, every couple of weeks, and we can all, it's kind of like a community where you're all sitting, and they put a little bit of content that, the people who's running it will go up there, they'll give us announcements and then basically kind of leave it open to us on what we want to do, how we want to do it, what do we want to get out of this. That's also like a family. We connect once a month, pretty much. We talk about what issues we have. We talk about what people we having issues with, and just give some advice on how can I be more successful when I'm dealing with these certain situations. So the Bears is doing everything they can to make me feel comfortable, make Black people feel comfortable, but they're also doing everything they can to make every body comfortable. So we're working on a women's ERG. We have a young professionals ERG right now, and I already mentioned the Black Bears ERG. So the Bears make an effort to be more diverse and make everyone feel more comfortable. Our president and CEO, he realizes that there's some things that needs to change in order to just continue to better Bears organization. Question here is, what's an ERG? So our ERGs, a lot of companies will name them different. Those are employee resource groups. So as mentioned, the Black Bears ERG, they'll basically focus the content of that meeting, of that group, to whatever they feel, whatever we feel as Black employees, what content, we want to know, we want to push, what advice we need. So it's same for our young professionals ERG. Our young professionals ERG is kind of tailored towards people who's been in the industry 10 or less years. So, this is for people who want to continue moving up. This is a resource group. Hey, I want to move up to this position. I've been in mine for a while. help me do that. You know, that's that basically whatever you feel you need from that ERG that they can provide, they will provide it. It's kind of a take it, you know, get from it what you want to get from it kind of thing. All right, quickly running through this again. So, and these are all things that you all can look up. So this Tailgate 101 content series is on our website. In the interest of time, I won't share the video. I won't play the video, but feel free to look it up. I implore you to. It was some pretty funny content, actually. And as you can see, we got a couple alumni, Charles Tillman, who's Big Bears alumni. We got Anthony Spice Adams. I know y'all had to see some Spice content. He is wild. Oh yeah, yeah, nice. It was mentioned that was Spice was one of the first Bears players he met. So yeah, this is the thing. So I'm reaching out to our alumni. Hey, we need you to be a part of this content series that we're working on. Would you be willing to? That is also a part of my network. These guys are great. As mentioned, I already worked with a couple of current players and doing appearances and things of that nature. So they get a sweepstakes. I won't touch on all of everything that they get here, but along with the tailgating series, they did a sweepstakes and they gave away some traveler grills, and then we also included some Chicago Bears branded prizes as well with that. My job to plan what prizes we're getting, my job to order all the prizes, my job to pick the winner of the sweepstakes, my job to send out all of the gifts to the sweepstakes winner. Like that's, as mentioned earlier, this is stuff that I can't really explain unless you guys see it right here. And then this is just a social piece we posted on our social. So these are just some of the things that I can tell them. This got 2 million impressions, 500,000 engagements, and 18,000 video views or whatever. This is another content series that Weber sponsors. So I won't touch on this, but this was kind of another custom content series. Again, I can tell them impressions, posts, engagements, video views, and things of that nature. And again, my job to activate. And then that's just a kind of a thank you that I toss in there on the season recap, because this is recap. And if this was me talking to Weber, I would be formally presenting this to them. This is why this year was such a success, because you got this many impressions, this, how this looked, that, you know, this, that, and the other.
So
Question?
Josh, is the success of
Thank you.
yes, clap, clap. Question, is the success of a partnership, is the success of a partnership truly based on impressions that the client is getting, like the Weber brand? Like, what is success for a client?
That's a great question. Success for a client looks different per every client. So some clients just want their brand out there. They want to slap their logo on something. Some clients, they're focused on engagement and content that is more engaging to our fans online. So they want to see the comments and things of that nature. They want to have something custom so they can put a Weber grill behind it, so they can see, you know, our fans can see that Weber's grills are cool. They can see Weber's grills are reliable. Those are things that some partners want to see. Some partners just want hospitality. They just want to come see us. Mm-hmm. They just want to come see us play, you know, our athletes play. They want a couple suites, and then they can entertain their clients or whoever they're inviting to the game. It just kind of depends on what the partner is. United, they want everything. They want their name everywhere. They want their name to look fantastic. They know their name will look fantastic working with us. And they want to make sure that, you know, they like I said, they have those community organizations. They want to make sure that people know that United cares about the community, and they're utilizing the Chicago Bears in order to do so. Like things like that people, that brands care about. It's very diverse in what they want from a deal. Yep.
For the social piece, was that something that you created for Weber, or did Weber's marketing department create that, and then did you just partner with them as far as the logistics?
Great question. So question is, for the social piece, was that something that I planned, or was that something that Weber planned, or how that worked? So that was something that we collaborated on. We took Weber's ideas. So if you're utilizing our platform, we at the end of the day we get to say on what content we want to post. So, however, we do ask the brands, hey, what do you want to get from this? Or do you have any ideas that we might be able to incorporate into the custom content series? This one particularly, we were able to collaborate on. So Weber wanted to do some type of tailgating. So the content focused on tailgating tips, tricks. It had a couple of recipes in there. And then, of course, just a couple different personalities to highlight the Weber brands, the Weber tools, that they have. So this was a collaboration kind of thing. Weber wanted to do a lot of other stuff that I unfortunately had to say no to. So again, that's that Chicago Bears piece that we can do. We can try to incorporate everything that you want, but most likely we won't be able to, because we also have a goal of this is what we want to push out, and these are certain platforms that we want to push it out on. So it just kind of depends. It kind of depends, but most of the time the content is coming from us, and just incorporating some ideas that the partner has. What other questions we got?
Talks of a new facility for the Bears, how would that affect, just your position in general, and then just the whole company with the Hall of Fame tiers and whatnot? Is there anything change within that process?
That is a fantastic question, and my guy did his research for sure. Yes, we got very exciting. We got a new stadium. Hopefully,
What's
it's
the
not
question,
official.
Josh? Real quick, what's the
Oh,
question?
yes. So the question is, how does the new stadium affect my job and just the Bears as a whole? So I'm sure, if you're in the news or media or whatever, you've seen that we do have a new stadium that's in the works of being planned. And I kind of give you a very surface level answer because it's not official just yet. However, unofficially, we are going to have a new stadium. I'm putting all my faith in Kevin, who is our president and CEO, to make this happen. And he is putting his effort into making it happen. So super excited for it. Now, how it's going to affect my job is going to affect it heavily. We're going to have a lot of new assets to sell. I don't know who's all been to Soldier Field by chance. Games. We got a couple people here. One's in the chat if you've been to Soldier Field for a game, concert, whatever, no matter what it is. You can see how old that stadium is. And if you've been to Soldier Field and have seen any other NFL team's stadium, it looks different. It's way different. It's a lot more convenient. It's a lot more convenient for our partners, for our fans, for everything that comes with game entertainment, and even for our players, the locker rooms and things of that nature. It all needs updated. It all needs updated. I won't get too much in the weeds of the why, because that was just kind of a surface level why, but there's a lot more reasons why we need our own stadium and a new stadium. So how that's going to affect my job is I'm assuming we're going to have a lot more partners. You get any, news of a team building a new stadium, it does not happen often. Although I will say there's a couple other teams that's building out a new stadium as well, which is kind of insane. This is probably the decade of new stadiums in NFL. I think y'all may have seen the White Sox are looking to build a new stadium. So it's kind of insane how many new stadiums are actually being built right now. What'd you say?
Did Las Vegas get new stadium?
They got
They got a new NFL stadium.
Yeah, I'm saying I know Titans are building a stadium right now. The Raiders, they might have got a new stadium. Yeah.
Because when I went out there,
Yeah.
I was driving up the street, bro, it was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was insane.
Yeah, so there'll be a lot of new partners. So right now I manage 20, probably next year I'll manage more around 25, maybe closer to 30. Imagine us getting a new stadium. Our partners and people, the brands that want to be a part of something like that, you're just not going to want to miss that. You're just not going to want to miss it. The promotion that's coming with it alone is going to be insane. It's already insane. And we're probably 4, maybe 3 years out from breaking ground on a new stadium. And we're already constantly talking about it. So it's going to affect my job heavily. It could potentially affect the location of where I am. But I'm excited for it. Crazy excited.
Work from home sometimes.
Seems like it's both.
Question is, do I work from home or what's my like day to day as far as location wise? So we get 2 work from home days. Most of the time it just depends on what's going on. If I have a meeting in the office, then I got to be there. But we do get 2 work from home days, and then I typically work in our downtown office, and I'll go out to our practice facility once a week. So it kind of fluctuates.
Is going back to the social element. Would the Chicago Bears like ever hold social media series of their own? Like, or what are the Chicago Bears looking for as far as social media content and promotional content from like people like us? You know what I'm saying?
Question is, does the Chicago Bears do their own social media content, or produce their own content? And what would we be looking for from a group like True Star Media? Yeah, great question. So we do a lot of our own content. So as mentioned, we kind of take, as far as working with brands, we kind of take a little bit of what they want to do and kind of incorporate it, but mainly we take their goals and build out our own content. But we do post content that doesn't necessarily have a partner on it. So, and that's all Chicago Bears stuff. So you see a lot of like mini mic content where the players will be just getting out of practice and we're like, hey, answer this question, or what do you think of this, or what's your favorite donut, or what's your, like things of that nature. Just that's a lot of us just engaging with the players, just so our fans can see them and see how they are, get to know them a little bit on a personal level, because these guys are NFL players, but they're people. Our fans don't really realize that. You see them, they get ate up because they didn't perform too well or whatever. So being able to see them in that type of a light it just personalizes them a little bit more. But yes, we do a lot of content that is Chicago Bears posted that does not have a partner on it. And if it doesn't have a partner on it, then I have nothing to do with it. Yep. And then second part to that question is just ideas. I'm sure you guys have a ton of ideas of what. Yeah, just bring some ideas. If you are interviewing and you see a position in content creation, or hey, I was thinking about this. I saw you guys did this, but I would want to tweak it, in this little way to make it more engaging, or to make, it go viral, or make it bigger. Yeah, if you see content that we're posting, which just follow our social media, follow our YouTube, all of that stuff. You see all the content, look at it, and be like, okay, I like it, but I would do this. It's okay to tweak whatever we got. We know we're not perfect. We know we love just hearing feedback and constantly getting better. Our partners, like I said, I just showed you guys a season recap. Weber, they're not going to do the tailgate content series anymore. They're going to transition it to something else. That's because they're like, hey, this was great, but we want to try to reach something else. Well, that's feedback. We love it. So yeah, evaluate.
On the post itself, or
So you wouldn't be able to give us so when putting into context. So the question is for the people in the chat. Sorry, I'm all over the place over here. Is who would the contact be to give that type of feedback? So I don't say it in the sense that you can like just reach out or email and like, hey, I would tweak this, I would tweak that. I say it in a sense of more so like for your own personal development and for your own personal like repertoire. So if you're looking at our content and like, hey, this is great, this tailgate 101 series is great, but it was like too dad focused, like I would tweak it this way to reach more millennials or more Gen Zs. If you got any advice on that, I would love to hear it, because we are looking into next year to transition that content series. But have that, as you are interviewing, this is just some kind of general research that as you are producing your own content, they did it this way, but I probably reached that target, so I'm gonna try to tweak it and reach this demographic. Or as mentioned, you're applying for positions, you're applying for content director or coordinator. You're like, hey, I saw this, before my interview, just kind of doing some general research. This was great content, but this is how I would have tweaked it. Like that during an interview, we would love to hear. We would love it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Any other questions in the chat?
Yes, we have two questions in the chat, and guys, we're gonna wrap it up. So if you have any more questions, just put them in the chat or get it off mute. I have a few questions. One, how do you stay motivated when there's a lack of motivation? And have you learned any tips from your work that you can use outside of work?
Yeah, absolutely. So I stay motivated by realizing that this is just sports. It's sports. I'm not saving lives. I'm not picking up people in an ambulance. I'm not arresting people. I'm not, doing anything like that. At the end of the day, this is sports. Very frustrating, very, anxiety filled industry because we're all so competitive. Like we all want to win, whether we're on the field or not. I want to be better than the next person that, the next partnership activation specialist that I'm working with, whether it's customer service, whether it's whatever. I want to be better at it. But at the same time, I look at him and like I want him to be or her to be the best they can be as well. That's that family kind of mindset. You all are kind of competing with each other because I'm sure there'll be positions that you're applying for that that is interesting to multiple of you. Compete with each other. It's okay to compete, but at the same time, cheer on the next person. Like it's at some point you will get yours. It may just be somebody else's time. I realized that when I was applying for positions and it's like, okay, I'm not getting nothing, but I see this person. I'm like, okay, I think my resume is better than yours. I don't know how you got that position. Just use this motivation. And as mentioned already, like that, I work in sports. This is fun. I shouldn't be going home and mad or sad or angry about what happened during the day. It's sports. It's sports. So that's how I stay motivated. That's just how I stay happy with what I'm doing. I love I love working with the Lions. I love working with the Bears. I love working with the Bears even more as this is home. I have a little bit more of a personal connection with the Bears, so that it's hard not to be motivated, or it's hard to, I sleep very well at night. I'll just say it that way. I sleep very well. And then, okay, I'm sorry. What was the second question?
Have you learned any
Have I
tips from
learned any
your
tips?
work that you lose outside
Yeah.
of work? And how do you feel Chicago Bears helps young people?
Yeah. I mean, there's things that I use. I would more so say there's things that I've learned outside of work that I'd use inside of work. It's kind of weird way of saying it. But I try to take myself, my own personality. I try not to be anybody different than what I am outside of work and work. So I would say that's probably a better kind of swapping those. I take what I learn outside of work and apply it to what I'm doing at work. There's always those general, networking skills and, things that you utilize outside things, my skills of talking to people I try to use here, if that makes sense. Like I'm not the greatest presenter ever. This is something that's personal that I'm working on. But again, I got to present these season recaps and things of that nature. So I learned that at work, and we have resources, people that come in and teach us, gives us tips and tricks on how to present better and what to do and blah, blah, blah. Like I utilize that stuff for settings like this. But I honestly would mostly say that the things I've learned outside of work and the experiences I've been able to have outside of work have been valuable to me at work. And I make sure to try to just be myself. It's hard. This is something that I did not go into this organization naturally doing. I didn't go into the NFL naturally doing it. Just in general, it was like, man, I'm like, I came as is, do I need to be here? Should I be here? Like, oh my God, like these are people that are all, here, blah, 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 that's been here for a while, kind of intimidating. This is the NFL. Oh, but yeah, but it's just go into your job, no matter what it is, as you. They hired you for a reason. You are here for a reason. So don't go in there pretending to be somebody else. You will not be successful. I guarantee that you won't be successful. And those are the people that do come home and it's like, I hate it today. I can't sleep. I got so much anxiety because those are the people that can't go into their workplace and be themselves, feel comfortable. So always just try to be comfortable. And I think, that's kind of probably my number one advice. Be comfortable in the organization or the things that you are doing. Build your network, and maintain your network. Start now.
Okay, and then last question, Josh, how maybe you could ask these two together. How do you feel Chicago Bears has helped the youth? And then how can we keep in contact with you? How can young people keep in contact with you?
Yeah, so two great questions. Our CR program does fantastic with reaching out and working with like organizations like True Start Media or high schools and middle schools that are in areas that don't necessarily have the resources that others do. So I would say that that's kind of how we keep engaged with the youth. There's always opportunities for internships and things of that nature. And just volunteering, that there may be. I realize, or I believe last year there was a couple people that came out to shadow. I don't know if my department specifically will allow the shadow, just because all certain highly sensitive information that we get on a day-to-day basis. But if there's other departments that you guys are like, I think it would be cool to just kind of come out and watch for a day, I'm happy to try to reach out and introduce you all. How do you keep in contact with me? So I do have business cards that I will keep here. I'll give to everyone here. Feel free. It has my cell on there, has my email. Please feel free to reach out, answer any questions. I feel like today was kind of all over the place, but again, it's my presentation specifically, because it's so hard for me to really explain to you what I do, because I do so much. But just know, hopefully it didn't sound boring. My job is extremely fun. It is a lot of fun. Get to work with the players, get to work with, other brands, building my network out there. So if I wanted to go to the brand side at some point, how cool is it to work with Nike, Gatorade? They send us stuff all the time. We get stuff from our partners all the time. I get to work with Beam, Suntory, which y'all are a little too young in here, but a lot of cool, like I said, a lot of cool partners that I get to work with. Question here is, who's the coolest celebrity I've met? That's a great question. I'm not a starstruck kind of guy. I've worked with a lot of the players. I work with players of the Steelers, so I work with Juju, Big Ben, all of those guys there. As mentioned, I was with the Lions, so Swift and quarterback, I can't think, Jared Goff, I met all of those guys. We did, I forget her, did work with a couple halftime, Big Sean. I met Big Sean a couple, he did a halftime show at the Lions. I met a lot of cool people, for sure. A lot of cool people, a lot of cool players as well.
Wonderful. Let's give Josh a big hand and show him some love for taking time out of his day. We appreciate you so much. So
I appreciate y'all. Thanks for turning on some, expedition as well.
Yes, thank you.
But yes, and for those of y'all in the chat, actually, can I type on here?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, I'll type my email and cell in here, just because I can't give y'all a card. But I appreciate you all. Seriously, please keep in contact. I am happy to help out however I can. And hopefully I'll be here again soon. Be around a little bit more often. I would love to kind of hang out with y'all, get to know y'all a little bit better.
Absolutely. We would love to have you and to have you at our West Side location and our South Shore location. Thank you to all the young people that came on virtually. We really appreciate you guys. Great questions in the chat. And enjoy this day. We'll talk to everyone soon. Thanks, Marty.